Hi everyone, thank you so much for tuning in for another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyrah. Thank you so much for tuning in. On this channel, we talk all about transmuting our pain into purpose, sacred beauty, living our best lives, and the journey to wellness. If that sounds like something that you're into, come stick around, pull up a chair, stay a while. Something that has been so prevalent in my life, and I talked about this a little bit in some of the other videos, and it just continues to be more and more important, is seasons, right? Like just watching the way that Mother Earth goes through seasons and cycles through nature, and even understanding the way that we go through seasons as spiritual beings, as human beings, and how all that kind of intertwines. I feel like there is so much clarity and so much awareness that we can gain from observing what is going on in our natural seasons that help us just understand and get a more clear picture of, where we're at, maybe the pressure we might be putting on ourselves, just how we really ebb and flow. Seasons teach us so much, and God designed it this way for a reason. I believe that it's God's intention for us to flow with nature because everything all works in harmony, right? In this beautiful divine universe. And we see it all over earth. It's confirmed in scripture. It's confirmed in so many different spiritual practices, so many religions, and every day as we step outside, we're reminded of just the wonderful abundance that earth has for us and how it can teach us things about ourselves. So the first point that I want to touch on is understanding the seasons that you're in your own life currently and how to journey and grace through them. So if you think about it, we be having all different types of seasons. We got like a we outside season where I'm trying to be seen, people trying to get chose, We have those type of seasons. We have our work hard, play hard seasons. We have seasons to ideate, seasons to execute, also known as seasons, times to plant, a time to reap and sow and harvest, right? We have times and seasons where we go through more gloomy patches in our lives, or we're sleeping a little bit more, where we might just not feel our best, or we feel a little tired, we feel a little sluggish, maybe a little gloomy, right? I think it's so important to understand and identify the season that you're in currently in your life so that you can hold space for yourself and journey in grace and not expect yourself to be doing the most if you're not in a season that really calls for that, right? So for instance, if we think about winter times, right now it is April, spring has just arrived, right? And it was just winter time. And I remember going through a space where I was feeling like I should have been more productive than I was being. I felt like I wasn't maximizing every hour of my day the way that I needed to be. And I was tired. And I had to take a step back and recognize like it's winter time. It's not time to be doing the most. Right now is a time to be hibernating and really going within. That doesn't mean that you don't do the work, because the work still got to get done. It just means that we're more aware of it, we're more intentional about it, and we're taking the time and space that we need to figure out how I can better flow through this. So rather than mentally beating myself up or feeling like I'm falling short because I'm not waking up at 5 a.m. and doing all the things and having this super long productive day, how do I shift my mindset to recognize that I'm in a space that my body, my mind, my spirit is asking for more rest. My body needs more rest because now is the time to go within and be able to get more of those divine downloads, be able to recharge my battery so that I can be back in the outside season, right? So that I can have maximum productivity. It all ebbs and flows. And I think understanding the season that you're in your own personal life and doing your best you can to go with the flow and not fight it or not try and force it so much is super important. I think it saves us a lot of frustration, a lot of mental, just like really being hard on yourself, and it pays off in the long run for sure. It may not be where you want to be, but the sooner that you surrender to where you are, you get more clarity on how to proceed, and it gets better. It gets better. I promise it gets better. We talked about this more in the Divine Breakthrough, the Butterfly Effect video. So if you want to hear more all about surrender and how we can really surrender and submit to where our divine path is taking us, definitely check out that video. Another thing I want to mention is to remember that seasons change. So similar to what I was just describing to y'all about going through, this winter time where I didn't have as much energy. I didn't feel like doing as much. I was sleeping more often, things of that nature. Recognizing that this is for a season. So if you're in a space in your life where you may not be in the ideal situation, right? Like you're in a space where you're ready for your life to shift, recognize that it's a season. Everything cycles and flows, and it will end, and you will get to the next season in due time and divine timing. But I believe so much of that really is determined in the way that we prepare and in the way that we maximize the seasons. So if you're not resting in the wintertime and you just still, and again, remember, I'm using seasons literally and figuratively. So I am talking about the very realness of the fact that we have winter, spring, summer, fall for sure. But I'm also talking about, you feeling in a more winter season within your own spirit, right? This winter season, if you don't maximize this winter season, if you don't catch up on rest while you got the time to, and if you don't allow yourself to be still to receive those divine downloads and you just on go, 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 you might not even know where you're going. You might look up and spring rolls around and summer rolls around and you may have a harvest, but is it the harvest that was planted with intention? Is it in alignment with the abundance that you were really seeking and deserving and that God really put you here to experience? Like, is it in alignment, or were you just go, 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 let's make money moves, let's make dollars and cents and just boo, 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 boo? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think there's something very real and savory and so needed about just understanding that seasons change and that we have the power to change them. And the same goes on the flip side, right? We are going to experience seasons of abundance and just like opportunities flowing in nonstop, right? And just all feels like the heavens just open up and all of the blessings flow down. And I think even in times like that, it's still important to remember that seasons change, because when you do hit that space of things slowing down a little bit, right, and maybe not getting opportunities as frequently, or maybe not experiencing the same charge and excitement that you felt in a previous month or in a previous weeks of your life for the work that you're doing, or the way that your relationships are blooming, or the way that your self-development and your growth is occurring, just remember that seasons change. Seasons change, and that's okay. Sometimes you're going to be in that season of like, we outside, we doing all the things, and then the leaves are going to start to fall and the layers are going to start to get pulled back. And if we're so fixated on only being one track minded and only being in one setting or one gear, as opposed to moving and flowing and shaking the way that you need to, you'll miss it. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to beat yourself up unnecessarily. You want to flow and just be in service. Something that I really enjoy in my process of self-discovery is really paying attention to what I'm experiencing. So observing myself in the different seasons, right? Learning more about my nature and where I'm at in that moment, and how to honor that and work with that and cultivate all that I should be receiving and all that I should be contributing in that season, as opposed to fighting it. I feel like there's so much learning that we can have. I also think that it's no mistake that quarterly goals, when you think about the calendar year, I am much more of a spiritually led, go with the flow of the natural earth, as y'all are probably very clear on now. And so the spring is really the mark of the new year, right? And it's spring now. So spring is really when the new year is really starting, because wintertime is when everything is in hibernation. I have made it a priority of mine to create seasonal goals for myself and to create seasonal intentions. So rather than go with quarterly business goals, like, okay, Q1, I'm trying to accomplish this, Q2, Q3, Q4, I really approach it from, what am I looking to accomplish in the spring? What am I looking to accomplish in the summer? What am I looking to accomplish in the fall? So on and so forth. And you have to find the flow that works for you, of course, but I feel like there's something so beautiful about journeying in flow and just being in total alignment with the universe and with all the abundance. I think it's really important. To my point about spring, this is something that just clicked in my brain, y'all. Like, I was in this season of winter of just being so frustrated and just in a very uncomfortable season, like in a season of stillness, and I'm ready to like bust out. I'm ready for the sun to come out, right? Then the spring equinox happens. We've had some beautiful sunny 70-degree days, right? It's been real cold too though, but we've had some beautiful days that have reminded me that things are shifting. And my natural reaction was to go immediately into like, okay, full gas, let's get it. Like, and I had to be simmered back down to reality, because that's not authentic to how seasons change, right? And I keep saying this, but it's because I'm really trying to, as I'm speaking this out loud, remind myself of that, and also just remind y'all of that. Like, there's a buffer period between when it's winter and it's dark outside and when it's spring. It's not just like, okay, boom, it's daylight saving, spring equinox, perfect. Like, now it's spring and we're just going to plan our season, have sunny days. It's like, y'all, it's going to rain. As not only is it going to rain, it's going to pour. It's going to storm. It's going to be hard. You're going to be somewhere trying to climb up and get the motivation, and the rain is going to be like, no, you don't. But you got to stay the course. And even for myself, just literally in the past 2 weeks, I feel like I have been frustrated with myself, of feeling like I could be doing more, feeling like, how can I be maximizing better, and why am I struggling, getting caught in certain habit loopholes, and things of that nature. There's a self-reflection that is constantly always going on as we're continuously growing and evolving and wanting to be the best versions of ourselves. But even in that, as I told y'all, journey and grace, I wasn't even being authentic to journey and grace over the past couple of weeks, because I was putting so much pressure on myself, like, earth is back open, let's roll, let's get it. And there's a buffer, there's a transition period, and those transition periods are very uncomfortable. It's those growing pains, right? So it's like recognizing, okay, Kyrah, you're having some areas you're struggling in. That's natural. Not only is it natural, but look around you. Like, this is natural. This is what nature is doing. Nature is getting in position and transitioning for the earth to be ready for us to plant seeds, and for beautiful for the beautiful harvest to bloom, right? For the flowers to bloom. It takes time. You need that rain. You need that pour down, cleanse you, clear you out, and start fresh. Like, we need that to be able to journey in grace through all the other seasons in our lives. So yeah, just don't forget that. Do your best not to forget that. Everything serves a purpose and a reason, and even the frustrating seasons, even the seasons that it's just like, oh my gosh, like, when is it going to end? Like, they change. Understanding that I'm doing my best, that we're doing our best, and that the rain in this season is a true reflection of that. It's a call to be still and get watered and be nurtured, rather than being so quick to race to the next thing and race to the next thing, and to just get there and get there and get there. Like, and believe me, yo, we're gonna get there. So I don't want you to take that and make it feel like, oh my God, I've been waiting forever. Like, when is it going to, we gonna get there. But it's just beautiful divine reminders that ask us to just surrender every day. Okay, surrender is a daily act, is a daily commitment, a daily devotion to growing and evolving into the best, most aligned version of yourself, and just working in harmony with all of God's goodness to help us get there. I was even seeing it like a valley, right? Like, the valley is the darkest part. The valley is the most isolated and the hardest part, the part that we struggle in the most. But it's also the part where you're breeded so much. Going back to what we were saying about winter, it's like, winter is the time that you're getting all these divine downloads, that you're getting all these jewels, that the things that may have been bothering you, I want to call them depressive thoughts, but that's a sensitive word, but like, things that have been feeling a little heavy for you, this is your opportunity to sit with them and to reflect on them and work through them, right? And not rush through that process, because you can't outrun it, because it's dark outside and it's cold. It ain't nowhere to go. Like, and there's going to be storms in between that climb, both ways, as we're transitioning into the sunshine and as we're transitioning out of the sunshine and back into the darkness. And that's okay. One of the things that I would encourage anybody watching this video, and anybody who is in your own space of journeying through your own seasons, to do is really sync yourself with the circadian rhythm. Now, we could spend a whole other video talking about this and how to really ingrain ourselves with the natural flow of life. But if we think about it, for instance, daylight savings just occurred, at least where I live at in Jersey. And so now the sun is rising around like 6:30 or so, and the sun is not setting until around 7:15, 7:30. So that gives us an opportunity to kind of transition back into cycling with the circadian rhythm, right? So getting up in the rising at 6 a.m. and having that time to devote and be still and go through your rising routine, whatever that might look like for you, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's reading, whether it's studying, whether it's meditating, listening to a podcast, like whatever it is that makes you feel full, journeying more toward that. And then doing the same thing at nighttime as you're preparing yourself to set up for the next day. But also remembering that you have to go with the flow that feels most natural and authentic to you and to wherever you are, right? So we always have like night owls versus there's a case study that we did in college that like the word is not coming to me right now, but the point is people be night owls. People be night owls. You could be a night owl. I was once a night owl. Depending on the day and the time of the year, I can be more of a night owl than a morning person. And that's okay, right? I think it's so important to understand the cycles of when you're most fruitful. And I want to be very particular and clear about differentiating between productiveness and fruitfulness. I feel like we can feel like, oh, but I'm just the most productive at nighttime. So that's when, I stay up all night and then whatever the case may be. And it's like, right, but is the goal of your life to be productive? I mean, yes, but in what terms, right? Like is the goal throughout your day to just maximize productivity and that's all you do? Or is it to also to be present, right? To devote spiritually, to be intentional. These are still things of productivity, but I want to encourage you as you're thinking about creating the flow that works for you and that makes the most sense to remember that it's not always going to be tethered to how much work you accomplish in a day and at what times you do the most work. But you do want to cater your life and your time around that. Hopefully that makes sense. That's why in wintertime, it's like, child, the sun is not coming out. The sun ain't barely out all day. So if I'm sleeping in until 8 o'clock, mind you, that's sleeping in. But it's like if I'm sleeping in until 8:30, that's what I'm doing. And that's just what it is, And as the sun starts to rise earlier and as outside starts to give us more sunshine and more life, I'm naturally feeling that flow from the beautiful circadian rhythm. Think about ways that you can maximize the season that you're currently in, right? Like think about the things that are nourishing in different seasons. So for instance, summertime, when I think of summer, I think of like water ice, I think of the beach, I think of sun-kissed skin, being outside, I think of parties, barbecue, family, fun, socializing, like prime time, we outside, right? So those are the things that I know to be nourishing to me in the summertime season. And if I'm experiencing a season of summer in my life and also in the real world, right? Like in Earth, then it's time for me to be more social. I don't need to beat myself up or feel like, okay, well, right now I shouldn't be going out as much because, it's not so responsible of me. It's like, sis, if this is your season of socializing and this is your season of moving and shaking and making those memories and having fun and networking and popping out and experiencing life, because tomorrow is not guaranteed to any of us, then do that. Do that and do the things that you enjoy. If it's wintertime and you know that you're not feeling like doing too much, then honor that. Don't make commitments to do things that you don't want to do if you're not really trying to leave your house. Stock up your refrigerator. Make sure that you have all the things you need in your home, from your bath teas to the foods to eat to your self-care practices, your face masks, like your nourishing, get your cookies, like get all the things that you need to feel good, get a warm blanket, watch a movie, kick back, like nourish yourself and nurture yourself in the way that will be most fruitful and most nourishing to you, just depending on where you are in your life. I would love for y'all to share a little bit about what season that you currently feel that you're in life, and also whether or not you feel like that's reflected to you currently in nature. Do you feel like you're in alignment with the seasons that we're currently experiencing, or do you feel like your life is in a totally different season? Either way, it's okay. I would love to have some conversation and share that with y'all in the comments. I'll definitely share which season I'm in, although I did mention it. It's very much the beginning of spring. I feel like I'm right on brand with where we are with Mother Earth. But yes, I would love to hear about that, and just love to hear about how you feel nature is nurturing you in this season and how that's being reflected to you. And if there's any way that we can support you in the community here and as a collective on your journey, if you may be going through a harder season or just a season where you need some extra love and support, let us know. You know, I want this space and this community to really be a resource to all of us, to love on each other, pour into each other, nurture each other, and just be well. So if there's any way that I can help you and support you on that journey of doing that, let's do it. For today's offering, and then we're going to get out of here, I created a spring affirmation / mantra document for myself, because as I've been growing and evolving and doing my self-love and just self-exploration and self-discovery journey, I've been reading a lot. I've been taking in information. There's affirmations that I've been speaking over my life for years now, just as a part of muscle memory that I've picked up through meditations or spiritual teachers or books that I've read, or just divine breakthroughs that I've received through spending that time. And then there's been new ones that I've been incorporating into my life, and something just clicked for me that I should put all the affirmations in one place so that I can read them over my life every day and be really intentional about it and about the energy and the way that I'm speaking life into them. And especially, like I said, these are spring affirmations for me, so they're really helping me to feel prepared and feel eager to take on certain challenges and certain new opportunities and just transitions in my own personal life that help me to have more clarity and more gratitude and help me to really feel grounded in my practice. And so I would definitely encourage you, the offering that I want you to take away from this video is to write out your affirmations or your mantras, whatever words resonate with you. That is totally okay. Write them out, whether that's just one, whether you have multiple, whether you got, I got about 10, 15 of them things, like, you know, whether you have a whole bunch, whether you just have one that you're really resonating with, write it down somewhere in a place that you can recite it over your life daily, speak it, breathe life into it, let it marinate on you. You know, I think that would be so fruitful for you, and it's been so transformative, especially as I'm working to change my mindset, because you change your mindset, you change your life. Speaking life over myself and really feeling it and embodying it, and it gives me such a, it's just so, it just feels so good. So here are my 3 mantras that I want to share with y'all in no particular order. Ready? Let's do it. I am blessed with financial abundance to support my lifestyle and my capacity to be of service. Feels so good. The synergy between Father God and Mother Earth is so abundant in my life. Oh, that one might be my favorite. I swear that one might be my favorite. I rejoice in obedience, and I am committed to embodying self-discipline. I rejoice in obedience, and I am devoted to embodying self-discipline. That one right there, that one is powerful, because I'm speaking life over the areas of myself that I'm working to improve. So instead of feeling like, yo, like, why do I struggle so much with being disciplined and with whatever the case may be, or like, how can I just be disciplined and be obedient and be better at it? I'm speaking life over it and speaking life over myself, that I rejoice in these opportunities that I get. Like when I get an opportunity, when God, the divine, sends me an opportunity to be obedient, I rejoice in that. Being devoted to embodying self-discipline, like devotion. I'm devoted. I'm showing up every day. I'm excited about it. I'm here. Like, I'm devoted to embodying, becoming, actually practicing, not just talking about it, not just thinking it, whatever the case may be, actually walking the walk, okay? Talking the talk and walking the walk. I'm embodying the self-discipline practices that feel good for me, and it just helps me feel so affirmed as a woman, as I know that I'm growing into all that I can be, and just helps me to feel so inspired and have such a positive outlook on life that when I go into the world, I can share that and other people are able to receive it in a real, authentic way. It's beautiful. So that's it for this video. I hope that you were able to receive something from this. I would love to hear more about what seasons you're in your own life currently. And I know we didn't get into the sacred beauty of it all today, but sis got her hair done, okay? I got a nice inch or so taken off. My ends were getting a little straggly, and I got some long layers cleaned up. Really pretty. I love it. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye.